My name is Ioan Iațcu and I am a museum specialist at Moldavia's History Museum. During most of the 19th century, also known as the Center of Nations, the Romanian principalities, Moldavia and Wallachia, located at the mouth of the Danube River, endeavored to shake off the protection of the Ottoman Empire, their suzerain power, and get in step with the modern European civilization by adopting social, institutional, and cultural models as well as values of Western Europe. At the middle of the 19th century, Romanians were lucky enough to witness the rise of golden generation of politicians both in Moldova and Wallachia, brilliantly illustrated by Mihail Kogălniceanu, Vasile Alexandri, Costache Negri, the Golescu brothers, Dimitrie Brătianu, and others. These reformers, almost all Masons initiated and trained in the radical Republican lodges of France, were the first to develop and conceptualize the idea of bringing together all Romanian provinces in a united Romania. The Treaty of Paris in 1856, followed by the Paris Convention in 1858, provided the international legal framework which in 1859 made possible the unification of Moldavia and Wallachia under Alexandru Ioan Cuza, 1859-1866. A supporter of the Romanian cause, the Emperor Napoleon III of France orchestrated the unionist efforts. Many pro-union activists were initiated in the Grand Orient de France, the largest of several Masonic organizations in France and the oldest in continental Europe. And several lodges were created in the principalities, such as the Star of the Danube, the Wise Men of Heliopolis, and the Star of Romania. Most of the 1848 revolutionaries, young men fighting for new ideals, remained in constant touch with the Parisian lodges, especially l'Athénée des Étrangers. Among these young patriots, Mihail Kogălniceanu, the first Romanian brain organized in a modern fashion, as the poet Octavian Goga later described him, was a remarkable politician, orator, and diplomat who, for over half a century, would work tirelessly to attain what was described as the national ideal, that is, the creation and modernization of a Romanian national state, democratic and independent. He was involved in almost all crucial moments of Romania's history in the 19th century and in the preparation of some that would mark the next one. Born in Iași on September 6, 1817, Kogălniceanu was a royal aide during the reign of Moldavian Prince Mihail Sturza, director of the National Theatre in Iași, a revolutionary in 1848 and ardent unionist in the aftermath, and later Prime Minister, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Minister of Interior Affairs, as well as Minister Plenipotentiary of Romania to France. He died on June 21st, 1891 in Paris. His body was brought back home and interred in the family crypt in the Eternity Cemetery in Iași. In order to better understand this complex and fascinating personality, one needs to take a visit to his old historical neighborhood in Iași, his hometown, and spend some time in the house where he was born, raised, and lived. Today, a memorial museum bearing his name, the house reenacts the atmosphere of the 19th century's boyar residence. It highlights a rich heritage and uses tools and concepts that allow for an interactive approach. Among the many valuable objects of display the museum possesses Kogălniceanu's Apron and Sash, the signs of the Masonic Lodge, where the great statesman was initiated in the first half of the 19th century. The Masonic apron is made of white leather, imprinted with the universal symbols of Freemasonry. The temple, placed in the center, symbolizes the lodge, the meeting place of Freemasons. The staircase represents the ascent, personal improvement. The 3 steps in front of the lodge relate to the 3 degrees of initiation of the members: apprentice, journeyman, and master. The 2 columns at the entrance of the lodge support the building, providing persistence and stability. The layout of the room echoes the hierarchy of the initiated. This is the place where all members congregate. J, Jachin, is the column of the journeyman, while B, Boaz is the column of disciple. The acacia position behind the two columns evokes the idea of permanence, hope, and immortality, resurrection. Well-known Masonic symbols are represented in the foreground: the triangle, the square, the compass, the level scale, the trowel, the hammer, the sword, and the burning torch. The apron is not meant to protect the clothing or the body. It is a sign of distinction, and to this day is a mandatory piece in the outfit of any Mason. Attached to the apron is the equilateral triangle with the all-seeing eye, a symbol of the self-knowledge and introspection. Similarly, the sash is another indispensable clothing accessory of any Mason. This sash is made out of green silk and embroidered with several important Masonic symbols: the compass with one arm crossed over the square, the pentagram, and the letters J and B. The sash was originally edged in the red silk, symbolizing blood, the vital principle, and the perfection of human being. Had the metallic mark hanging at the end of the necklace been preserved, we could have been able to appreciate the Masonic degree of the wearer more precisely. According to several studies on Romanian Freemasonry, Kogălniceanu may have been the venerable of the lodge, but there is not enough information to prove that with absolute certainty. This towering personality who placed the Romanian state on a modern foundation and strongly believed in a free and united Romania remains relevant to this day. Kogălniceanu's destiny totally merged with that of modern Romania, while he truly was, as praised, the soul of the national triumph.